सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम्। पेज 338। अथात आत्मादेश एव आत्मैव अधस्तात् आत्मा उपरिष्टात् आत्मा पश्चात् आत्मा पुरस्तात् आत्मा दक्षिणतः आत्मा उत्तरतः आत्मैवेदं सर्वमिति स वा एष एवं पश्यन् एवं मन्वानः एवं विजानन् आत्मरतिः आत्मक्रीडः आत्ममिथुनः आत्मानन्दः सस्वराट् भवति। तस्य सर्वेषु लोकेषु कामचारो भवति। अथ ये अन्यथातो विदुः अन्यराजानस्ते शय्यलोका भवन्ति तेषां सर्वेषु लोकेषु अकामचारो भवति। अर्थात आत्मादेशः अहंकारेण देहादिसंघातोपि आदिश्यते अविवेकिभिः इति। We say that ahankara ahamadastat ahamuparistat. So ahankara adesheva, That last adesha or instruction or teaching was with reference to ahankara. Ahankarena dehadi sanghatopi adishyate id avivekibihi. So those who are aviveki, non-discriminating people, meaning those who look upon the dehadi sanghata as aham, they would conclude from the earlier instruction that it is ahankara as identified with the dehadi sanghata. He doesn't know its identification. That dehadi sanghata, this body, mind, sense complex, which he calls aham, that alone is told to be everything. Atah, therefore, tadashanka, because this is possibility. Atah is therefore. Why? Because there is a possibility that someone may look upon or take their instruction that way. Tadashanka ma bhut. May that conclusion not arise, or may not somebody go with that conclusion. Iti atha means anantaram. So athata anantaram atma desha atmanaeva kevalena. So now this adesha instruction with reference to atma. So not the dehadi sanghata atma, which an aviveki takes to be atma or the self. Atmanaeva kevalena, by the self that is pure or kevalam, non-developed. Sat swarupena, of the nature of sat. As I said earlier, sadeva swami idamagrasid shuddhena sat swarupena, by sat swarupa, of the nature of existence which is shuddham, pure. So that is what is meant by the word Atma here, and not what somebody may understand by it. So Atma eva idam sarvamiti, Atma eva sarvatah sarvamiti ityevam ekamajam. That Atma eva sarvatah sarvam. Atma is everything in every way. Sarvam, everything. Sarvatah, in every way. Ityavam ekam ajam sarvatah vyomvat purnam. Ekam sajatiya bhedarahitam, devoid of sajatiya. You say, nobody like me. Ajam, of course, birthless. So, ekam eva. And so, or anya shunyam iti dvijatiya bheda shunyatvam. One, non-dual. Nobody like me, nobody other than me. I am other than everything, but nothing is other than me. So that's an important equation, that I am other than everything. Nothing ever touches me, nothing ever affects me, nothing ever taints me. I am ever pure, ever beyond the reach of anything. I transcend everything, in short. I transcend everything and I pervade everything. And as I transcend everything, I am different from everything. I pervade everything, therefore nothing is different from me. So that's the equation of non-duality. Why is the equation like that? It is non-duality in spite of duality. Non-duality is not in absence of duality only. Of course, in absence of duality, it is non-dual. But in spite of non-duality, that is because the duality is mithya and therefore does not count as a separate entity. And so that gets counted automatically. When you count yourself, all your reflections also get counted. You don't count them separately. Or in Anubhuti Prakasha, that example was given. if there is a magician which shows you a 100 rupee note, so then your 1 rupee plus that 100 rupees makes it what? 101? It makes it 1 only. So, because that 100 is what? Mithya. So that's the non-duality in spite of duality, because the duality is only apparent, is an appearance, is mithya. Ajam sarvatah vyomvat purnam, complete in every way. Anyashunyam pashyan. So thus when one sees the self or oneself in this manner, as one non-dual, where nothing is apart from me, same time I am apart from everything. Pashyan savai esha vidwan manand vijnanabhyam. Esha vidwan. So vijanan. So one person, the person who is wise, who knows, how does he know? Manana vijnanabhyam. By mananam, reflection, and vijnanam. So we imagine Shravanam has already taken place. By Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. So the Tikakara says in line 31, Manad Vijnanayoho Pathatah Darshananantaryepi Tayoho Darshana Hetutvam Eva Tajjanana Samarthyat Tayoho Ityaha. So Manad Vijnanayoho Pathatah Darshanantaryepi, because the text says Sava Esh Evam Pashyan Evam Manvanaha Evam Vijana. Pashyan means seeing, realizing. And then says Mananam, reflecting. Vijanan, knowing. So Manana and Vijnana Pathatah. As far as the text is concerned, the Mananam and Vijnanam come after Darshanam. But still, Tayoho Darshana Hetutvam Eva. It is not that Mananam and Vijnanam is to follow Darshanam. Darshanam or the immediate knowledge takes place as a result of Mananam and Vijnanam. Tajjana Samarthyat Tayoho. Because Manana and Vijnana have the Samarthyam, the capacity or capability of producing knowledge. Therefore, so knowledge, even though is mentioned first, should be understood as what follows Manana Vijnanam. Therefore, Bhashyakara said, so Manana Vijnana Bhyam Vidwan, realizing as a result of Mananam reflection, Vijnanam Nididhyasanam. Atmaratihi, he becomes Atmaratihi. Now this is a designation of a wise person. Atmaratihi. Atmaneva ratihi ramanam yasya soyam Atmaratihi. Who is Atmarati? One who revels in the self. Atmani eva ratihi. Ratihi means reveling. Only in Atmani, in the self only. Soyam Atmaratihi. Tatha Atma Kridaha. So one who sports with oneself. Dehamatra sadhana ratihi, bhaya sadhana krida. So all you need is yourself to revel. Even deha also is not required. Rati is purely manorajyam, meaning that it is just mentally you are reveling in something that is pleasant to you. So it's priya, moda, pramoda. Yastvatmaratireva syat apnatriptasya manava atmanyeva santushtaha. So rati, tushti, trupti. priya, moda, pramoda. But anyway, so sporting with one's own self, Atma Krida. How can you sport with oneself? Says Ratihi, so Deha Matra Sadhana Ratihi. All Rati means reveling requires only yourself. By a sadhana, Krida. For Krida or sport, you certainly require someone other than yourself also. Loke Stribhi Sakhivischa Kridaditi Darshanat. Thus we find that in the day-to-day world, people sport with women or with girlfriends, etc. Na tatha vidusha. So an ordinary person requires this kind of aid in order for sporting, getting the joy of Krida. To get the pleasure or joy of Krida, you require someone. Na tatha vidusha. But the Vidwan, a wise person, does not require anything or anybody other than himself to play. You can play these days by yourself, so with computer you can play. You can play cards and they do that. So in the aeroplanes and things, when people have nothing else to do, then they do these things. So you require that computer, something you require. Here, na tatha vidusha. But to get the joy of Rati and Krida, get the joy of reveling or sporting, a Vidwan doesn't require any aid, that's all. Kintarhi. Then, how does he do that? How does he get that joy? So the point is, he gets happiness without the means of happiness. That's what is meant here. An ignorant or ordinary person requires means of happiness to be happy. The wise person is happy without any evident means of happiness. So kim tahi? Then how does he do that? Atma Vijnana Nimittam eva Ubhayam Bhavati ityartha. Ubhayam Bhavati, he becomes both Atma Ratihi and Atma Krida. One who revels in himself, one who sports with himself. Or say disports with himself. So, Atma Vijnana Nimittam, by virtue of the knowledge of the self. Which is what? Of the nature of Ananda. So, by virtue of knowing the self as Ananda, he discovers himself to be the source of all the joy. So, joy that comes by Rati, the joy that comes by Krida, ultimately is Atmananda only. Yat saukhyambadi lesha lesha ime shakradayo nirvataha. The wise person is now established saukhyambadi in the ocean of happiness. Lesha lesha ime shakradayo nirvataha. Of the fraction of which ocean of happiness, even the Shakra and Indra also, they are all content, satisfied. So wise person discovers himself as the very source of joy, as the very ocean of joy. And all creatures ultimately sustain on one fraction of the joy of this person. So matram upajivanti. All the beings only, they sustain themselves by matra, a fraction of the joy that a wise person sees in himself. And so snute sarvan kaman brahmana vipashyata iti. He becomes Brahman. Sayohai tat paramam brahma veda brahmeva bhavati. One who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. So brahmana vipashyata iti. As Brahman, which is vipashyat, which is all-knowing, consciousness. So snute sarvan kaman. He simultaneously experiences all the fulfillment of all the desires. Meaning, what would be the ananda? If all the desires were fulfilled simultaneously, imagine, not one by one. Sarvan kaman saha, simultaneously. So that is a description of infinite joy. happiness. And so, Sarv Anyan Bhutan, so Matram Upajivanti, all the beings, Anyani Bhutani, all the beings only sustain on the fraction. So Atma Rati is what? The Rati is also a fraction of fraction. Krida also is a fraction of the joy, which the wise person discovers himself to be. So all that means that he is Ananda Swarupa. That's all it means. To get any kind of pleasure now, he doesn't need anything because he is the source of joy. Apuryamanam achala pradishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. Just as the ocean that is complete or filled from all sides, how the rivers themselves enter into that. Without creating any distortion, without vikara in the ocean. So also the wise person remains nirvikara. The next word is Atma Mithuna. So Bhashyakara explains that. Mithunam dvandvajanitam sukham tadapi dvandvanirapeksham yasya vidushaha. So Mithunam is dvandvajanitam sukham, the happiness that arises from the union of the two. Tadapi dvandvanirapeksham yasya vidushaha. This Vidwan gains the same joy or happiness without the need for any union, because again he is Ananda Swarupa. So Ratik Manavijnana Pashyan Ratik Krideho Bhedamaha Dehe Bahya Sadhana Kridayatra Loka Prayogamaha Loke. Okay. Bala Swayameva Ramate iti Prayogaha. So sometimes the children play by themselves. Keeps doing something himself, doesn't need anything else. So that's called Rati. Dehematra sadhana Rati tetta drashtabhya. The next one is Atmananda. Tatha Atmanandah Shabdadinimittah Anandah Avidusham Na tatha Asya Vidushah Kintarhi Atmanimittameva Sarvam Sarvada Sarvaprakarena Cha Deha Jivita Bhogadi Nimitta Bhashya Vastu Nirupeksha Ityartha. Tatha Atmananda. So he is Atmananda, means one who has Atmani Ananda, one who is Ananda with his own self. Shabdadi Nimitta Ananda Avidusham. So Bhashyakara explains the difference here of the Ananda of the wise person. Shabdadi Nimitta Ananda Avidusham. Avidusham, the ignorant people, meaning those who have not seen the nature of the self, they are able to gain happiness as a result of these objects as Shabda Sparsha. So, Vishayananda, they get the happiness from the objects of pleasure, an ignorant person. Na tatha asya vidusha. But that same Vidwan does not require any objects of pleasure for being happy. Kim tari, then what is the situation? Atma nimittameva. So it is Atma alone is nimittam. Meaning that the joy that the pleasure that other people gain from the objects of pleasure, this wise person gets not from himself, as himself. So Sarvam Sarvada Sarva Prakarana Cha Atma Nimittameva. So at all the times, in every way, Sarvam, everything. Sarvada, at all times. Sarva-prakarana, in every way, in all the ways. So, he gets all the joy at all the times in every way. Uktavakta tatparyarthamaha. So, said sarvada sarva-prakarana cha. Okay. देह जीवित भोगादि निमित्त बाह्य वस्तु निरपेक्ष इत्यर्थ है. सो भोगादि निमित्त बाह्य वस्तु निरपेक्ष है. फॉर देह जीवित, फॉर सस्टेनेंस ऑफ द बॉडी, और भोगादि फॉर एनी अदर प्लेजर. Whereas an ignorant person requires Bhakya Nimitta, requires an external Nimitta or means. Nirapeksha, the wise person is Nirapeksha, free from Apeksha or free from dependence upon anything. So says Anandagiri, Dehasya Jivitecha Bhogatyagayosya Nimittam Bhakya Vastu. Dehasya Jivitecha, normally for Jivanam, for the sustenance of the body. Bhoga tyagayoscha, for bhoga the pleasure, for tyaga means, so giving up what you do not read, I guess. Either there is tyaga come here, I do not know, but anyway, because that's what Narendra Puri wrote. Dehasya jividam bhoge tyage nimittam. So bhoge nimittam. So because bhogadi, Bhashyakara is bhogadi nimittam. So adi is tyaga, or whatever. So dehasya jivitecha bhogatyagayosya nimittam bhakya vastu. And so for an ordinary person, for sustaining his body or for any kind of pleasure, nimitta requires an accessory which is bhakya vastu, which is always an external thing. So nirapeksha tatra sarvatra nirapeksha. So the wise person becomes free from all apeksha. Even to dehe jivitam, that this body should be sustained, there is no apeksha there also. Or for bhoga or for the pleasure, I require something, that apeksha also is not there. So it's called prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. All the kama, all need, expectations are gone. Because all the needs are gone. Basically, the wisdom or the knowledge makes him discover the fullness of the self, and therefore he becomes free from all needs. That's all. But all apeksha or expectations ultimately arise from need. Physical need or emotional need or whatever needs are there. So what is meant by completeness or fullness or kritakrityata, meaning the sense of fulfillment, is one becomes free from all the needs. Even the need of sustaining the body, I must sustain the body, that also is not there. And so this is described in Bhagavad Gita also in many places, Yadrucha, so it's Yadruchalava santushta, dvandvatito vimatsara, samasiddhava siddhavocha, krutvapi nibadhyate, etc. Or he becomes free from even, as I said, that also in Bhagavad Gita several times we see here, Shubha Sho Parityagi. So one who gives up any karma is required for Shubha or Ashubha. No karma is required. So basically nirapeksha, free from all apeksha. So even the apeksha of the basic desire also, the need for being sustained by food and things, that also doesn't remain. Whatever comes to him, he is happy. Yadruchalava santushta. Or he may go out for bhiksha, that much Lord Krishna says. Samasiddhava siddhaucha. So because he doesn't have any means on with himself for self-sustenance, he does go out for bhiksha, but there Yadruchalava santushta. He is content with Yadruchalava, whatever comes on its own. But if you are satisfied with whatever comes on its own, that only means that you are satisfied with yourself basically. That in fact you do not require anything for being satisfied, then alone it is possible to be satisfied with whatever comes, Because you cannot will satisfaction. Satisfaction has to happen. You cannot say I am satisfied. You will say. But to feel satisfied has to happen. And as much as Atmaneva Atmana Tushtaha, he is satisfied with himself by himself. That being the case, there is no apeksha at all as to what should come to me or what should go away from me. So yadrucha means Ishvarecha or Prarabdha. Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. So whatever you get by vidhi, by your prarabdha, santushyatam. May remain content with that. Yadruchalaveshu asangvarjito vidvan. So even whatever comes on its own, there also asangvarjita is free from any attachment or any any expectation. Or the other tika says nirapekshayati vidvan is anusanga vidvan. So nirapeksha vidvan ityartha. So anandagini jivan mukti muktva videha muktim darshayate. So it's jivan mukti. Atma ratihi, atma kridaha, atma mithunah, atma nanda. And so rati, reveling in himself, krida, sporting with others, mithuna, from the union, and atma ananda, from the sense objects. These are the sources of happiness for an ordinary person. All of that the wise person finds in himself, and therefore becomes free from anybody else. For rati, krida, mithuna or ananda, he is independent of anything else, nirapeksha. So that nirapekshatvam is called, the freedom is called jivan mukti really. He is nirapeksha, he is totally free from all apeksha, all needs, so that is called freedom. So ultimately, moksha is nothing but freedom from all needs. Inasmuch as all needs are only created needs. There can be need of the body, but not my need. So body can have need. Nobody else has any need. Mind doesn't have any need. The mind's needs are all created. Body's needs are all nature. So Ishvara has made this body which has certain needs for its survival, so that's okay. But all others are, so these are the natural desires. Rest are all cultivated desires. So all cultivated desires go away. So the basic need of appeasing hunger by food may remain. And maybe even that desire to appease the hunger may remain. But there is yaduchalava santushtaha. There are some who do not even go out. It's ajagari bhiksha, like a najgara, like a python. He remains in his own place. Whatever walks into his mouth, As far as the python is concerned, whatever walks into his mouth, that's what he takes, he enjoys, he sustains. So some Mahatmas are like python. They just lie down in one place. And whatever comes on its own, he sustains on it. Some people go out for madhukari bhiksha, bhavati bhikshandehi. There also whatever comes, he is happy. Meaning that his happiness does not depend upon even fulfilling his or quenching thirst or appeasing hunger. His happiness doesn't depend upon that. The sustenance of body may depend upon that is one thing. But happiness does not depend upon even the need to appease the hunger or need to quench the thirst. The life may depend upon that, but not happiness, understand? So, jiji vishe shatam samaha, jiji vishe chet. If there is a desire, then of course, kuron nevehe karmani. If desire is there, you have to perform an action which is appropriate to fulfilling that desire. But that is also not there. So there always has been a contention of the Bhashyakara that look, it is not that everybody has to perform the karma, because karma requires you perform only when there is a need. But Mimamsakas cannot imagine that one can become free from need. Bhashyakara says, yes, Atma is not what you take it to be. You take Atma to be dukhi and incomplete, that's why you think that need will always remain. But no, Atma is complete by nature. So no need remains when one discovers the true nature of oneself. So that is the basic contention of Vedanta. There is something called Jivan Mukti, that one becomes mukta, liberated even while alive. And mukti means freedom from all expectations or freedom from all needs. And only when you need something that you are obliged to that which fulfills your need. The sense of obligation is there as long as there is a need. And so long you are obliged to the one who fulfills your need. When need is not there, he does not even care whether his life is sustained. So then what do you want? In that case, he has no obligation, because he is a total contributor. He is a zero consumer. He consumes nothing from the resource of nature. When you are not consuming anything, then there is no obligation also. So basically, sense of obligation arises because of your need to consume something. So he is totally contributor. Zero consumption. Never zero duty. Zero obligation. Therefore, no obligation even to perform the nitya karma, agnihotradi karma, that also is not there. So nitya karma means the enjoined obligatory duties. Enjoined daily obligatory duties are called nitya karma. That is for fulfilling your debt. But when there is no debt, even that also is not required. So this is what Bhashyakara keeps on telling these Mimamsakas, that look, there is something like this. That it is possible for a human being to become totally free from all needs and demands, and understand that all your karma, nitya karma, is a result of your demand, a result of your need. Why does Veda in fact instruct you or command you to perform nitya karma? Is because Vedas look upon you as a needy person. Meaning that all the obligatory duties that are enjoined to needy people. That's why Bhashyakara is ignorant. But it is not that you have to remain needy. That is a state. That a wise person becomes free from all the needs and therefore becomes free from all duties. So Jivan Mukti means what? Freedom from all duty. So we said Krita Krityata. And so Krita Kritya Utma Ukta Atma Vijnana Krita Krityadamaha. By virtue of the knowledge, he has fulfilled all his duties and obligations. He is no more obliged. So this was a description of Jivan Mukti, the liberation even while the wise person is alive. So Jivan Mukti Muktva Videha Muktim Darshayati, the conclusion now. And so the phala, the Upadesha is given. Now the phala, the result is being told. So having described the Jivan Mukti, the Videha Mukti also is described for this wise person. What is Videha Mukti? The Mukti of the liberation that remains after this body falls. Meaning that just as the presence of the body does not in any way come in the way of his freedom, so then absence of the body also will not come in the way of the freedom. He is already liberated, vimuktascha vimuchyate. He is already liberated and remains liberated. So this is what Upanishad said, Saswarat Bhavati. Swaraj becomes sovereign. Tasya sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. Another one. Kamachara hai, so freedom of movement. Sarveshu lokeshu, in all the worlds. He has the freedom of movement in all the worlds. So this is also the Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti, both of them. और the other टीकाकार said, ननु आत्मरति इत्यादि विशेषणैः इहेव अन्यनपेक्षत्वेन स्वराज्यम् अनन्याधिपतित्वं प्रतीयते न देहपातानन्तरम् अपि इति आशंक्य. So आत्मरतिः, आत्मक्रीडः, आत्ममिथुनः, आत्मानंद, by all these visheshanas, all these attributes to the wise person, iheva anya anapekshtvena, meaning for rati, for krida, for mithuna, for ananda, he is not dependent upon any, therefore anya anapeksha, there is freedom from all apeksha or the expectation or need of anything. Swarajyam ananyadipatitvam pratiyate. So that's how he is become a sovereign. Not in a primary sense that he, but see, he's a Badshah, so the Shahenshah, And so what is it our Swami used to say? So these two beggars or two mad people, so Jahan Khan. Aapka kya naam hai? What is your name? Jahan Khan. Tujhe Khan. Aapka Tujhe Khan. So that's how Jahan Khan, Tujhe Khan, that's kind of Hindi. So anyway, I don't know what is Jahan. He thinks that Jahan Khan means I'm eating the whole Jahan, And Tujhe, I mean, it's not so. Jahan means he rules the whole Jahan and then I rule you. But anyway, so Swarajyam Ananya Adhipatitvam Pratiyate. One who becomes master of his mind becomes a master of the universe. That's the basic rule. One who is master of the mind, Svabhava Vijaya, when you conquer your mind, you conquer the whole world. Because it is your mind that makes you dependent upon the world. And when there is no dependence in your mind, then everything is fine. So is Swaraj. Swaraj is one, or sovereign is one who controls everything. But what does he get by controlling? He gets what he wants. He has the total satisfaction of the freedom, control. But that this person has. So without really having to enjoy any position as such, he enjoys that. When Mahatma Gandhi passed away, his personal, there is no bank account. His personal property was 2 rupees. That's all he had, But still he was a Swaraj. And so he did not need anything in order to be happy and in order to control everything or to rule everybody. It's by virtue of love, by virtue of what you are, that you rule. So he may become a ruler also of the whole universe, not by virtue of power, just by virtue of purity, by virtue of love, he automatically becomes a ruler of everybody. And so that way also you can say, Swaraj, he becomes a sovereign. So whatever it is that a sovereign enjoys is what this person enjoys by virtue of knowledge. That's what it means. So sovereign may enjoy total sense of satisfaction because of the ego satisfaction of controlling everybody, of ruling everybody. And basically what you get is the ego satisfaction, which is a kind of happiness, a kind of sense pleasure only from an object which he already has. Of course, the sovereign will get whatever objects of pleasure he wants again. So that is Atmananda. That also he gets from his own self. But this Tikakara said that this description seems to show that is Jivan Mukta hai. Na deha patan anantaram, there is ra is to be added, anantaram api iti ashankya. That it doesn't, from this description, it doesn't look like he remains sovereign after the drop of fall of the body also. Paschat Paratantra Praptau Hetu Abhavat. But the question is, why should he become Paratantra? While he is alive, he is Swarat, he is sovereign, he is Swatantra, he is totally free. Then between now and after the fall of the body, what can possibly happen that he becomes Paratantra? Nothing will happen. When the presence of the body does not make him Paratantra, absence of body cannot make him Paratantra anyway. If his Swatantrata came because of body, his Swatantrata came because he possesses a body, then of course the body goes away, he can become Paratantra. His freedom, he is free because he has a body, then he becomes bound also when the body is not there. But his freedom is not because of body, in spite of body. So, Paschat Paratantra Praptau Hetu Abhavat. After the fall of the body, there is no Hetu. There is no reason for him to become Paratantra. So, Paratantra Praptau, there is no occasion or no possibility of Paratantrata. Sarvada Swarajyam. And therefore, he is always a sovereign, whether he is alive in this body or not in this body. So Bhashyakara says in the line, page 339, Sa evam lakshana vidvan jivan neva swarajya abhishiktaha patitepi dehe swaradeva bhavati. So evam lakshana vidvan, vidvan the wise person, of this lakshana, of this characteristic. What is Atmaratihi, Atma Kridaha, Atma Mithunaha, Atmanandaha? So, that Vidwan, Saswarad Bhavati, Sah, Evam Lakshana Vidwan, Jivan Bhashyakara adds, Swarad Bhavati, because it's Vartamana, Bhavati becomes sovereign. So, Jivan Neva Swarajya Abhishiktaha. He is anointed in sovereignty even when he is alive. So becomes sovereign. That being the case, Patite videhe swaradeva bhavati. So then saswarad bhavati is interpreted Bhashyakara as videha mukti. So Bhashyakara adds that he is swarad or sovereign even while he is alive. Therefore patite videhe, even when the body also drops, he remains Swarad. Meaning that death cannot bring any gain or any loss. If he is not Swarad, it cannot be that the death makes him Swarad. That also cannot be. If he is Swarad, then death cannot rob away his sovereignty either. So word Swarad explained the Tikakara on line 21. Swarad Swayameva Rajate, that's Swaraj. So Swayameva Swasya Raja Nanyu Asya Raja Ityartha. So this is important for the Upanishad because Anya Rajanaha te Kshaya Lokaha Bhavanti. Because ignorant people are described as Anya Rajanaha, those who are ruled by some other king. In reference to that, wise person is Swarad, he rules himself. So Swasya Raja Bhavati, his own king, his own master, as this, I am my own master. So he is his own master. Swayama Swasya Raja, Nanyasya Raja Ityartha. He doesn't have any master, that's all. So this is being said with reference to ignorant person who always feels that he is ruled by somebody. An ignorant person can never become free from the feeling that I am ruled by somebody. Swarajyam nimittikritya phalantaramaha. On account of his being sovereign, what is the phalantaram? What additional or what is the benefit he gets by the way also on account of being sovereign? Or is Rishtika Swaratvadeva Nirankusha Kamacharam Nirankusham Kamacharam. You see, a sovereign is free to move about in his kingdom, isn't it? A sovereign, who is the king? He is free, at least in his own kingdom. A sovereign means one who rules the whole earth. That's called a sovereign. So sovereign has, if it is Alexander or somebody, he can go wherever he wants. Because he is a master, he is a king, he's conquered everything. So if this person is sovereign, then he has conquered everything. That means what? He has a freedom of movement everywhere. So that is the phalantaram, an additional thing. So then Bhashyakara says, yatah evam bhavati tatah eva tasya sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. Yatha evam bhavati, because it becomes Swarat, tatah, therefore, tatah eva, because of that indeed alone. So by virtue of his being Swarat or sovereign, tasya sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. What is kamachara? Chara means movement. Kama means desires. So he moves as he desires. He has a freedom of movement as he desires. Where? Sarveshu lokeshu. So that's why this one says Sarveshu lokeshu kamachara. That's what Shruti says. He has a freedom of movement in all the worlds. His freedom of movement is not confined to a certain region. Everywhere. Says Anandagiri, or says here the other tika, tatrasya iti, tatrasya yatha kamachara bhavati iti vakyana ityartha. Now, nanu purvamapi tatrasya kamachara bhavati ityadina etadeva phalamuktam iti. See, in the earlier cases also, look at page 320 for example, as an example. Say asham brahmetyupaste ashayasya sarve kamaha samruddhyanti amogaha etc. So yavat ashayaha gatam tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati. And so the result of the meditation upon asha. Say asham brahmetyupaste, one who meditates upon asha is Brahma. And when that meditation is totally fulfilled, then what's the result? Yavad ashaya gatam tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati. He gets freedom of movement in that region which is reachable by asha. So wherever asha or expectation or desire, so whatever its movement spread is. So wherever asha exists, that is because he is identified with asha. He has become asha, therefore he has a freedom of movement wherever asha is. Well, that's all. Not where asha is not, So in each case now this is being said, yatha kamacharo bhavati. Beginning from nama in many places it is said, yatha kamacharo, as Anandagiri says here, yavan namno gadam tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati. Beginning with the meditation upon nama, so yavan namno gatam. Whatever is the reach of nama, what is the scope of nama? Tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati. Because on account of meditation upon nama, he has become identified with nama. Therefore, wherever the nama is, that's where he is automatically. Doesn't have to move really. When he is nama, wherever the nama is, that's where he is. So yavan namno gatam, what will be the reach or extent of nama? Tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati. He has the freedom of movement in the realm where the name is. Ityadina parichinnam paratantram cha purvabhumishu phalamuktam. In each one of the earlier cases, he had the kamachara. Yatha kamacharo, he had freedom of movement as he wanted. But Purva Bhumiju Phalamuktam. In whatever bhumi, in whatever realm he is identified, in that realm he has the freedom of movement. So in Nama, then Vak, then Manaha, then Sankalpaha. So as he identifies with subtler and subtler things, of course, his freedom of movement also becomes, more and more accessible, vaster and vaster, all the way up to prana. So there also his freedom of movement is only up to prana. So that's what Bhashyakara says here. और दिस टीका ननु पूर्वमपि तत्रास्य कामचारो भवति इत्यादिना एतदेव फलम उक्तम. Looks like same words are used. So tatrasya kamacharo bhavati. He has freedom. So freedom of movement was the result in every case. So etadeva phalamuktam, it looks like that. Earlier also when the result of upasana was stated about nama etc., the same result was described. Iti na bhumadarshina vishesha. So namadarshina kamachara, vagdarshina kamachara. So everybody is kamachara. So bhumadarshi also, the one knower of bhuma also is kamachara. So what's the difference? Looks like the freedom of movement is the same as it used to be in the previous cases. Iti asingya pranadishu Bhashyakara says. Pranadishu Purvabhumishu Tatrasyaiti Tavan Matra Parichinna Kamacharatvam Uktam Anyarajatvam Cha Arthapraptam Sadishayatvat Yathaprapta Swarajya Kamacharatva Anuvadena Tattannivruti Nivrit Iha Uchare Saha Swaradityadina. So pranadeshu purva bhumishu. So bhumi means all the realms up to prana. So pranadeshu purva bhumishu, beginning from nama all the way up to prana. Tatrasyeti, in most cases, tatrasya kamacharo bhavati, he has the freedom of movement in that realm. Iti tavan matra parichinda kamacharatvam uktam. So Bhashyakara says kamacharatvam mentioned here is not the same kamachara as kamacharatvam mentioned earlier. Because the word kamachara is the same, but it is qualified. Tatrasya kamacharo bhavati. Tatra, there this person has the freedom of movement. Tatra means what? Namni, in nama, in vachi, in vag. So wherever his meditation is, identification is, to that extent he has the freedom of movement. So tavan matra parichinda kamacharatvam uktam. Because kamachara word is the same, therefore one may feel that the same result is no. In each case also, even though earlier also the word kamachara was used, freedom of movement, in each case that kamacharatma was different. In each case the freedom of movement was different, as it is in this case. So there the freedom of movement was in the parichinna, meaning in the limited regions. Anyarajatvam cha artha praptam. And by implication the fact that you have limited movement only in this one. So for example, a prisoner has freedom of movement only during his cell, that's all, prison cell. That's the freedom of movement. And so everybody is in some kind of a cell anyway. And so if you are an Indian, you have freedom of movement in India. Otherwise you require a visa and stuff like that, and it's so difficult. Going to Europe is very difficult, give you a very hard time. All Middle Eastern countries and European countries, America, everybody gives you a hard time. They don't let you go there. You want to travel and spend your money, they don't allow you. So how we don't have freedom of movement, beyond what we are identified with. So we are Indians, all right. So you have the freedom of movement in India. Thank God. Otherwise you are a Gujarati, freedom of movement in Gujarat, and then, so far it is not there. See, that's how it is in European countries, and they are all small countries, they have freedom of movement in that country only. But now they have this European Union, and therefore all members of the Union have freedom of movement in all those countries. They don't require visas to travel into each other, those countries. We will require visa. Unless they give you a European Union visa, I don't know if they give you, then of course you can freely move. Otherwise you require visa of each country. So that parichinna kamacharatva muktam. Similarly, in earlier cases also, the kamacharatvam, freedom of movement was stated, but it was in a limited realm. Anyarajatvam. So therefore you are controlled by where you don't move. And so, because you can't go there, because then you are imprisoned, you are arrested, whatever. That means a person is dependent. As long as there is a limitation, so long there is dependence. So, anyarajatvam cha artha praptam, it implies that this person who has a limited freedom of movement is ruled by somebody, is controlled by somebody, meaning that he is not sovereign. At the most he has freedom only in this region, not beyond that. That means there is something beyond which is ruled by somebody, and therefore you are ruled by others. Sadishayatvat, because your movement can be always improved upon. Atishayana sahavat, meaning that it can always be improved upon, excelled. So as far as the freedom of movement in the earlier cases was concerned, it could always be improved upon. I wish I could go there, I wish I could go there, I wish I could go there. Whereas in case of wise person, the freedom of movement is unconditional freedom of movement. So with that, earlier was conditional, this is unconditional. So yatha prapta swarajya kamacharatva anuvadena tasya sarveshu lokeshu. That's why Upanishad says kamacharo bhavati. In all the realms he has a freedom of movement. So therefore tattan nivritti uchyate, meaning that his kamacharatvam or freedom of movement is not confined to nama or vak. All of those are, so nivritti, meaning that by saying sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati, Upanishad in fact excludes all of them, and so says that this is the kamacharatvam without any restriction, unrestricted freedom of movement. So swarad ityadina. So that's what Anandagiri said. Yavan nam nogadam tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati ityadina. Parichinna means paratantram cha purabhumishu phalamuktam. Parichinna means limited. So where limitedness is there, paratantratvam, also the dependence is there. So parichinnam paratantram cha. So by a word, by the very idea of parichin, limitedness, the dependence automatically comes. Paratantrata comes when parichinta is there. When limitation is there, dependence is automatically there. For the simple reason that one cannot accept oneself as a limited being. I have problem with myself. That I simply cannot be comfortable with myself when I see myself as a limited being. And therefore I have to depend upon something to make me free from my sense of limitation. Since I do not know how to become free, I always look up to something or somebody to help me make myself free. And therefore parichinnatvam automatically presupposes the paratantratvam. Atra tu paramananda prapto tad vyavrutti uchyate. So paratantrata vyavrutti, parichinnatva vyavrutti. The exclusion of exclusion, or so exclusion of all limitedness or all dependence. Nadu sopadikam rupam. So this is sopadikam is conditional. So this is not conditional freedom of movement, this is unconditional freedom of movement. Not restricted, but unrestricted freedom of movement. Same thing that the Tikakar also says. Tatrasya yatha kamachara vidi vakyena tavan matre namadi gochara matre. We already saw this. Artha praptam parichinna phalasya paratantra vyaptatvad, the same thing. So when parichinna phalam, any result that is limited, is always accompanied with paratantram or a sense of limitation. So yatha prapta swarajya, says the Tikakara, yatha prapta iti apekshika swarajya kamachara anuvadena tasya sarveshu loke anena apekshikatvarupa परिच्छेदन वृत्ति उच्चते इत्यर्थः. आपेक्षिक स्वराज्य कामचार अनुवादेन. So कामचारो भवति, same word is used अनुवाद. Reiterating कामचार in earlier cases is what? Apekshika. Earlier the freedom of movement was conditional. Anuvadena tasya sarveshu lokeshu. So that Kamacharatvam here is qualified by Sarveshu Lokeshu. In all the worlds, iti anena apekshikatva rupa paricheda nivrutti. So there is no paricheda, no limitation, and so there is no condition, there is no need, there is no expectation. Ityartha. Yadva bhumatma jnanasya bhumatma prapti phalam. Or, so freedom of movement, of course, is only said to compare this with others, that's all. So, same kamachara, in fact, there is no kamacharatvam as far as the wise person is concerned, really. Or there is no need for that kamacharatvam or freedom of movement. But in as much as kamacharatvam, freedom of movement, was stated in every previous case, so to distinguish this from others, here also kamacharatvam or freedom of movement also is anuvada, reiterated and qualified by sarveshu lokeshu. So in all the worlds, that way the idea of parichinnatvam, limitedness and conditional is here excluded or removed. And so apekshika swarajya kamachara anuvadena tasya sarveshu, yadva, that's already done. Yadva bhumatma jnanasya bhumatma prapti phalam. Brahma Veda, Brahmaya bhavati. Or you can say that knowing Bhuma, you become Bhuma because Bhuma is Brahman. So the one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. Nacha bhumni advitiye dvitiya sapeksham kamacharitvam swarajyam va sambhavati. So when you become Bhuma, then you have kamacharatvam and swarajyam of Bhuma. But advitiya bhumni, inasmuch as there is nothing other than Bhuma, therefore the kamacharatvam or swarajyam also is without any second. So na dvitiya sapeksham. So kamacharatvam or the swarajyam of Bhuma, because Bhuma is independent of the other, therefore the kamacharatvam, swarajyam of Bhuma also is independent of others. Bhuma is advitiya, without a second, therefore independent. Therefore the kamachara, the freedom of movement by virtue of knowledge of Bhuma, and swarajyam, sovereignty by virtue of knowledge of Bhuma also is the same as Bhuma. Means what? So dvitiya so anapeksham, without apeksha of the dvitiya. Iti or somebody may say this, by the way, also says dvitiya sapeksham kamacharitvam. See, kamacharitvam and swarajyam always presupposes duality. See, when you say you are a sovereign, a ruler, means what? The ruler can be only with reference to ruled. Or freedom of movement, that you are moving someplace. So the one who moves is different from where he moves. So in all this description of kamacharatvam or swarajyam, the dvitiya, the second is automatically involved in there, And so dvitiya sapeksham Kamacharitam Swarajyam va sambhavati. How can it not sambhavati? Somebody say, how come they are talking about the Kamachara, freedom of movement, and sovereignty in case of Bhuma? Because Bhuma is non-dual, they were totally independent, whereas Kamacharatvam and Swarajyam presupposes the duality. So, how can the result of knowledge of Bhuma be of the nature of duality? Even Bhuma is non-dual. Iti Ashankya. Pranadi Vijnaneshu yat parichinnam Kamacharitvam phalam anya rajatvam cha tad ihavi parichina phalam iti shanka praptau. So somebody may say that even though he has become wise, he may still, because in earlier cases Kamacharitvam was limited, freedom of movement was restricted, and Swaraj, sovereignty also was restricted, only realm of prana. So somebody may feel that even after becoming wise, he may have restricted freedom of movement or restricted sovereignty. Iti shanka praptu tan nivrutyartha saswarad bhavati. So to eliminate that doubt, the Upanishad makes it a point, saswarad bhavati. He becomes a sovereign. He has the freedom of movement. Iti uchyate. And so, that there is no parichinna phalam, a limited result as far as the Bhuman is concerned. Natu dvitiya sapeksham ukta phalam prapayitum iti pariharati. So this is said not in fact to imply a limitation, because dvitiya sapeksham ukta phalam prapayitum. Ukta phalam, the Kamacharitvam in case of to prana was always dvitiya sapeksham, dependent upon the dvitiya. So that's not meant here. This is what Bhashyakara said, pranadishu ityadina. So Bhashyakara pranadishu purvabhumishu tatrasya iti tavan matra parichinda Kamacharitvam uktam. We already saw anya rajatvam artha praptam satisayatvat yatha prapta swarajya Kamacharat anuvadena tatta nivritti uchyate. So that's all. Idea is to show that this wise person is free from that limitation which was there in the all previous cases. So yatha prapta swarajya means what? Anya rajatvasya parichinda kamacharasya cha dukkha janakatvena swarajyam nirankusha kamacharitvam cha me syadri sarva vidvan prarthayate. So he says, that Tikakara says that in an ignorant person this need always remains. What's the need? Nirankusha kamacharitvam me syat swarajyam nirankusha kamacharitvam me syat. May I become a complete sovereign. May I have a total freedom of movement. So this kind of a desire always remains in a person who finds himself restricted in movement. So if you had a universal visa, I mean, you love that there is no restriction of going anywhere. Now, if you become a US citizen, you can't come back to India. That's another thing, So then you require some other OCI card and stuff like that, So, because now he worked hard to become US citizen, and now I want to go back to India. India says, well, apply for a visa, So please give me an OCI card so that I have freedom of movement in India, So how any restricted movement always is accompanied with a desire for freedom of movement. Any restriction, any limitation always presupposes a desire for becoming free from limitedness. Iti sarva avidvan prarthayate tatah pravrutyartham tad ishta phalanuvadamatram kriyate. And therefore, so pravrutyartham. You see, the ignorant person, when he sees the result, sarveshu lokeshu kamachara bhavati swarad bhavati. Oh, you become sovereign? Oh, you have freedom of movement in all the realms? That's what I want. So because this is what an ignorant person desires, to motivate him for knowledge, And so, tatah pravrutyartham, to motivate this ignorant person for pursuit of his knowledge, tadishtaphala anuvada matram kriyate. Only anuvada, reiteration of the phalam result, which is desired by the ignorant person. So that's all he knows, as Bada Swami used to say, you know. So because you don't know what it is. So Bada Swami will say, because this small sister is there, 6-year-old, and her 18-year-old sister got married. Wow. So now, what kind of joy? You know what kind of happiness will I have? If you had a whole room full of toys. Wow. So that's all this little girl can think of, you know. This is the examples he would give. But anyway, to show the ananda of a different category, you see, this is the thing. Similarly, the ignorant person desires this stuff. So he's told in those terms that he can understand. So he is motivated to pursue the knowledge. Tat parameva vakyam, meaning that the vakya does not have primarily, the vakya does not mean to say that the result is kamacharatma swarajyam, is only said to allure the ignorant person. Tatha vedasya phalasya dvitiya apekshitvena muktau asambhavat. Because any swarajyam or any kamacharitvam presupposes duality, and that cannot be in primary sense in a wise person, and therefore it's only say in a figurative way, not in a primary way. Kintu paricheda nivritti upalakshita brahma prapti phala parameva. This vakya is what? Paricheda nivritti upalakshita. What is Brahma? Brahman is that which is upalakshita, implied by paricheda nivritti, by freedom from all limitations. That's Brahman. So, therefore, Brahma prapti phalam. This is all the Upanishad means to say, is that he becomes Brahma. That's all. Shikhate vardate vatsa galuchim shraddhyapi vaiti. How a mother, you know, will motivate the child for drinking galuchi, whatever that thing is, you know. So galuchim is that. And that is a bitter thing. Maybe the child requires that because he has fallen sick, you know. But then he won't drink that. So you're few, I don't want to drink. No sickness, it doesn't matter. But when you say, Shikhate vardate vatsa, my child, you get long hair, and that he wants. And therefore, okay, then drink this. So then this fellow will drink. Galuchim shraddhaya piba. Have shraddha that you will have long hair. Iti balepsida shikha vruddhi anuvadena, because the child wants shikha vruddhi, wants long hair. Tadiya arogya phala paramatra vakyavat. So that vakya does not have any intention of shikha vruddhi, intention of arogya pradatvam. So may you drink galuchi, so that you will have long hair. That vakya does not have the intention of long hair, implying, but implication is one arogya. Since this fellow will not go for arogya, therefore he is told what he desires. So this vakya does not have actually the purpose of telling you the swarajya or kamacharatvam, but because an ignorant person wants that, to lure him only, these results are stated in a language that an ignorant person can understand. Okay, we'll continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.